Hello everyone, and welcome to a brief demonstration of the Instajudge iPad application. My name is Brendan Michelson, and I am the Chief Technology Officer at PearCircuit, LLC. So to begin, we're going to want to install Instajudge on our device. So to do that, we're going to go to the iOS App Store, and up here in the top right-hand corner, we're going to want to search for Instajudge. Now, it should be the first result that pops up. Then here in the top right-hand corner of the application space, we're going to want to press the download icon, and that will download, and depending on your network connection, that'll take a couple seconds or even a few minutes, but we'll wait for that to download. And once the download is complete, you can exit the App Store, and then you will see that Instajudge has now appeared on our home screen. So we'll open that for the first time, and we're presented with a login screen. Now, Instajudge is a two-pronged application. It has both a workspace for judges and also for administrators to handle data and export features. So to begin, we'll explore the judge interface. So go ahead and enter your credentials and either tap the check mark or go here on the keyboard, and that will log you in. Now what we have here is we have the first kind of judge selection screen. So we've got a list of judges that are registered for our event. Here you see we have their names and the colleges they're associated with, and also their unique judge ID number. All of these fields are sortable. So if you see name, there's a little arrow next to it. That means that name is currently sorted in descending order. But if I were to tap that, then it would be sorted in ascending order alphabetically. The same goes for college and ID. This functionality exists throughout the app for all of our different columns and how we store data. That makes it easy to kind of find things quickly and move about the application. So we'll start with the interface. Up here in the top left corner, there's a refresh button, and that will refresh your data at any time. Then moving across the toolbar, we have the filter function, which we'll talk about right now and then a little bit later as it gets a bit more complicated. But this also appears on all of our data screens. It allows filtering by available fields. In this case, all we would need to filter by is college. So if I were to click on this, then I can see all the different colleges present for this event. And if I only want to see, let's say, judges that exist for the College of Agriculture, then I will hit deselect all first of all, and then just hit agriculture and hit done. And then I only have the College of Agriculture, and then I can sort those. And then if I want to remove that filter, I just go here and click clear filter. The other kind of static features of this page are the event name and date, which are just for record keeping and letting the judges know kind of what event they're attending. So let's dive in. So what a judge will do once they log in is select their name and proceed. So today I'm going to be Mr. Jason Bates. So I'm going to select his name. So we move over to Jason's screen, we'll see that he has 3 posters that he can judge. So this screen kind of encompasses his dashboard individually. So again, up here on the gray kind of status bar, we have the judge's name, how many posters they've been assigned throughout the event, and how many posters they've submitted, which we'll get to in a second. These last 2 numbers will be equal when the judge has completed all the assignments they were given during the event. Once again, we have a completely sortable and filterable data set. But let's kind of get started with how to judge a poster at this event. So let's say that I want to judge poster number 3. So I'm going to just simply tap on it, and then I'm going to get the first of 3 criteria screens. So we've got content and organization, and these are simply selections, so I can just tap to select one, and depending, if I change my choice, I can do that as well. Let's say I think they're proficient. Organization, it was a very well organized poster, so we'll give them a mastery level. And then down here, we just have the next button, and then it continues with documentation and visual presentation. Now, if I want to go back to change something, I just hit the previous button. But let's say that I like my choices. So I'll hit the next button again, and then I'm presented with the final criteria screen, which has oral presentation and interaction. So we'll select, we'll give them master. It was a very good poster. And then I'm done with my choices, so I'm going to select finish down here. And it gives me kind of a recap to ensure that I've selected what I would like to select, and I can hit finish, or if I'm not quite sure, I can hit cancel. Now, before I move on, I want to explain the two buttons in the toolbar up here. The X on the far left will stop this currently running evaluation. It'll warn me beforehand because you do lose all unsaved data, unsubmitted data if you were to do this. I don't, so I'll select no. In the top right, we have log out, which is just simply back to the login screen, so that could log in as a different judge or as an administrator, but we're not going to do that either. So let's say that I like this evaluation. I'm going to hit finish and then finish again to confirm. And now we see that number 3 indicating that it's been done and the submit button has been activated. Now, Instajudge works on a batch submission functionality. So I can do several of these, as many as I want, in fact. And once I finish them all, I can submit them all at once. I can submit any number above 1 or all of them, depending on what I'm feeling. Now, another feature is that, let's say that I just did number 5 quite quickly. So let's say I think that I made a mistake. If I tap it again, it will ask me if I want to edit, because I've already completed this one. But if I want to go back and take a look, I can hit yes and do that. And it saved my previous choices. So let's say I didn't think, in fact, it was developing. I thought that they were proficient in their content. So I'll move that up to 3. Then I'll hit next. I think these are correct, and I think these are correct. So I want to finish the updated one. You'll see here that content has now moved up to a 3. I'll finish that, and it'll update that. So then let's say that I want to submit these two. I'll just go ahead and down here to the submit button. It'll ask me if I'm sure that I want to do this. I'll hit submit, and then Instajudge will submit these to the cloud and take them off. So that's the basic workflow of judging an application. You'll see that I now have one left, and if I refresh, I haven't been assigned any more. Now, if I were to be assigned more, they would show up here as well, and I can keep being assigned posters. But we'll move out of this screen and back to this screen. So that is the judge workflow for this event. Now let's take a look real quick at the administrator side, which is where kind of the data of the entire event is handled. So I'm going to go and sign out, and then I'm going to go back to the login screen and put in my administrator credentials. And then hit go. So here we're presented with the first of our workspaces for the administration view. So again, we have on the toolbar in the top, we have a refresh and filter. And then the new button that has appeared is an add button. So as you can see, this screen contains all of the posters that are registered at this event. And they begin in descending order of poster ID, which again is filterable and sortable. But if I wanted to add a new poster, then I would just tap this button up here in the top right-hand corner, and I would enter my poster title and select a college. If it is in fact a new college, then I would select this button in the right-hand corner next to Associated College, and it would ask me for a new college identifier, and then I could assign that to posters in the future. I'm not going to do either of those because I think I have all my posters here. So this screen allows for real-time viewing of how the event is running. So if you remember, while I was Mr. Jason Bates, I submitted an evaluation for number 3. Well, you'll see that number 3 here has been submitted one evaluation. So I can tap that and take a look and see what scores were given to me. And these are averages over all judges, but since there was only one judge, you can see what Jason gave poster number 3. While we're on this kind of detail view of each of these columns, this ability goes for all of the columns. Let's explore some more features of each of these. You'll see here in the bottom right-hand corner, there's an enabled switch. And that basically means that if, let's say, a poster doesn't show up or a judge can't make it, just kind of to clean up the judge interface, you can turn these off, and that will kind of gray it out, and it will not appear in the judge interface. It will still appear here in the administrative interface in case you want to tap on it again and re-enable it. But judges will not see it. Next to that switch, there's this edit assignments, and that allows control of what judges are assigned to this particular poster. So if I tap that, we'll see that no one is supposed to judge this anymore at this event. You'll also see under each judge's name how many they are currently assigned. So it seems that Jason is the only one assigned something. So I could give anyone else this poster just simply by tapping on their name, and it brings this little check mark. I can select multiple as well and then just hit done up here, and that will give them that assignment that they can do in the judge interface. Again, this detail view is just found by simply clicking on the row that you would like to look at. Let's move over down here in the tab bar to the judges screen, just simply by tapping on that, which looks quite similar. Again, it has data fields pertaining to judges. Again, we have the refresh button and the filter button and the add a new judge button if need be. These rows also have detail views, which we'll look at for Jason again. Again, I can enable or disable, and this is a feature that pertains just to judges. So Jason, as you remember, has posters that are assigned to him that he needs to complete in order to make sure that all posters have been judged. If I disable him, then suddenly I have a deficit of poster assignments. So some posters are not going to be given the evaluations that they need. So it prompts me to reassign if I would like. And if I hit reassign, it'll present me with a list of the remaining judges, and I can select someone to give them to. I'll give them to Janet. And then I can successfully disable Jason as a judge if he cannot make it for any reason. But I'll re-enable him. And then once again, the Edit Assignments button allows me to assign Jason some posters for him to assign, which will show up then in the judge screen. So I'll assign him 11 and 12 and then hit done, and that'll save. And that applies again for all of these rows, this detail view. And then finally, on the tab bar down here, there's settings. And that allows for some more options for data. Export data is kind of the biggest of these. So if you tap that, it presents you with a preview of an Excel document that can be created from the data currently in the Instajudge system for this event. And that includes all of the judges and their statistics, and all of the posters and their total scores, their final scores, and all of their individual average scores for the entire event. So once you're in this preview, if you want to export the data, you go up here to the top right-hand corner and hit the export button. That'll bring up an email field, and then just select here to type in your email address and then hit send up here in the top right-hand corner. And then that will send you an email with the timestamp of when it was exported, and the attachment will be a CSV file that you can import right into Excel. But we won't do that right now. We'll head back to the options screen. The option below export data is edit event. So we'll just select that to see what it looks like. That's where I can change the event name and event date that we saw in the judge interface. And that just will display across all devices. So you just simply click in here, change whatever you would like, and then hit the update event button. We'll go back. And then the last two options are simply PearCircuit's terms of service and privacy policy for this application. And that kind of covers the legal terms defined and the correct use of this application. And then finally, the administrator sign out button here. So that, in a nutshell, is the Instajudge iOS iPad application. Thank you for watching, and if you would like more information, please visit our website at PearCircuit.com.